Bo has been gone so long that it's going to be very difficult to come back. It's like a diver going deep on a dive and has to stage back up through recompression to get the nitrogen bubbles out of his system. If he comes up too fast, it could kill him.
That was Sergeant Bo Bergdahl's father yesterday, speaking to just how long his son's road to recovery will be now that he has been released. After nearly 5 years of captivity in Afghanistan as the sole American prisoner of war, Sergeant Bergdahl is currently being treated at Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany. It is unclear how long it will take until Bo is ready to come home. Joining me now is Joshua Fatal, who was detained for more than 2 years in an Iranian prison and is the co-author of A Sliver of Light with Shane Bauer and Sarah Shord. Joshua, it's great to see you. Let me just first talk to you about this moment when you're freed, and the drama and the relief and probably the fear. You know, what went through your head?
Really, at that moment of being released, nothing was going through my head. I was just floating through space, in my parents' arms. Because the moment I was released, I was running down the airplane steps into my family's arms. They were in Oman, and so we spent a few days there before coming back to the United States. But I immediately got back to my family.
That halfway point between where you were and where you're going, which was the United States, what is that period like when you have you're sort of sequestered, but you know the media has started its drumbeat.
Yeah.
You know, what's that like?
Well, it was a helpful few days because we got to go out to a restaurant and sort of feel the difficulty of making choices about what I'm going to eat for the first time in years, this sort of thing. We got to go to the beach and experience sort of a beauty that I hadn't seen for a long time. So it was a helpful few days, and I was with my family, so we started to have those conversations that we've been wanting to have forever. But it really takes a long time to actually have the depth of conversations and to get at what the experience was like for me and to hear from my family what it was like for them.
Were you, given the fact that your family was with you in that sort of critical re-entry period, were you surprised that Bergdahl's family has not seen him and they haven't really communicated with him yet?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm sure they got, they're trying to show that they have some big plan for him, trying to make up for their, how they look about treating veterans in a recent scandal. So they're trying to look like they have a plan and they know what they're doing. But I think it is smart to take a good amount of time.
There is a debriefing period, right, where the U.S. government wants to know as much information as you have. And you were in an Iranian prison. Obviously, there are a lot of questions about what's going on in Iran. What was that experience like, to the degree that you can talk about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the first things someone came up and wanted the FBI to speak to us, and I didn't want to talk to the FBI. I'd just been accused for being a spy for the U.S. and I didn't want to work for the U.S. intelligence.
You did not actually want to be a spy for the U.S.
So, it's such a different situation than him. He is, was, I guess he had his own qualms around it.
Yeah.
But he put on a uniform and carried a gun and was occupying another country. I took a mistaken hiking trip.
Right.
So, I refused to talk to the FBI at that point. Just wanted to be with my family. That was my re-entry. And
tell us, about coming back to the States, and what that was like after, years of captivity, deprivation, sensory deprivation, emotional deprivation, physical deprivation. That readjustment period, I would imagine, continues to go on today.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still getting my head around it, and there's things that come up in the first few weeks, the first few months. I get my head around. It's easy. I figure out how to make choices about going to a restaurant. I figured out how renew my license, go to the bank, get everything in order. It takes a few months to sort of get life in order, figure out how first plan, where I'm going to live, that kind of stuff. And then there's sort of stuff that just sticks with you for a long time. I mean, even now, this stuff with the U.S.-Iran negotiations, that stuff is it's personal. Politics becomes personal at that point. Whereas people in Congress are trying to sabotage the potential peace agreement between the two countries. And that keeps me up at night now. And I'm sure that will happen to him, thinking about Middle Eastern politics. The other thing is probably the most important and the most healing thing in the whole time is trying to come back to having free relationships. You know,
Yeah.
your only relationships are with these captors that you hate or that you like have this tortured relationship with. And so I just had to feel that people weren't my guards, my interrogators, and feel that I was having free relationships. And then ultimately, finding love is the best healer.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the whole thing with Bowe Bergdahl is just conversations and communications become something you have to rebuild. The book is A Sliver of Light. Joshua Fattal, thank you as always for your time and thoughts.
Okay.